Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Robert Stickle. I'm also joined by my colleagues Jim Patterson and Paul Estabrooks. Jim and Paul will be today's presenters and will discuss the topic of the future of Microsoft Project Online, NextGen PPM on the Power Platform. This webinar is a new addition to our series of adaptive webinars, so if you enjoy this video, feel free to watch the others we have available on our channel and look towards the next installment, which we'll be releasing soon. And as always, I hope that today's presentation grants you some insight into the world of project and portfolio management and gets you excited for the new developments happening within the industry and here at OnePlan. Thank you again, and I'll now turn the presentation over to Jim.
Thanks, Robert, and welcome everybody. We're here today to present to you the fact that Microsoft is changing in the world of project management and project and portfolio management. And we're going to talk to you about what that future looks like and the fact that the future is here today, and you can get started on this new trek and follow in alignment with where Microsoft is going. So we're excited to present this here to you today. And one of the reasons that we present this topic to you is that we are focused on project and portfolio management as an organization. OnePlan is. And we're consistently recognized by Microsoft in our efforts in that regard. And we're pleased to say that we were just recently awarded again the Global Partner of the Year in Project Portfolio Management by Microsoft in 2022. As you can see, we've won it 3 of the last 4 years, and the 1 year we didn't, we were a finalist. So we're pleased to say that we're recognized for that, as well as being recognized outside of the Microsoft ecosystem by the analysts like Gartner and Infotech, Scaled Agile Inc. for the folks that we help with Agile Portfolio Management. So once again, the reason we present this is because we're very much clued into the Microsoft ecosystem, where Microsoft's going with these things, and we're happy to share that information with you. So let's talk about where Microsoft is going and what their vision is. Microsoft Project in and of itself has been around for a long time, but evolving with where things are going today in the marketplace, Microsoft has a new modern work management vision, and it includes 2 precepts. One is teams work the way they want, because there are different methodologies and methods and frameworks that people are using for approaches to execute on projects. But executives still get the results that they need, meaning leadership and management still needs to run the business with this information, regardless of how teams are executing at the level that they're working at. And so Microsoft Project, as they see it for the future, will empower companies to achieve better results by aligning investments with projects and resources, working with agility and flexibility, and collaborating globally, all using intuitive, consistent tools in the Microsoft Cloud Platform. And our focus today is going to be things that are all delivered to you from the Microsoft Cloud Platform. So when we talk about modern work management, the reason it's evolving is there are modern work management problems and solutions that need to be derived from that. And certain problems is that work is happening everywhere all the time, and we end up losing track, meaning work is distributed globally, different parts of our organization. And the solution really has to get the big picture so that all work, all tasks, all portfolios across a number of different things need to be encompassed in whatever we do. And our teams are choosing the tools that they want to work in, more agile approaches, maybe more hybrid type of approaches, maybe more unstructured types of way of doing task management. And the solution is to really have a choice of tools that you can have in what you want to work with and executing on projects. The other challenge and problem we have is that more and more people that are tagged to manage projects are not full-time formally trained project managers. Casual or accidental or occasional project managers is sometimes terms that are used. And even the younger workforce are used to this app culture of installing an app on your phone, for example, and just beginning to work. They want simple visual tools to work and have people not have to be highly trained in order to be effective in what they're doing. And so the idea is to be able to start fast, have simple interfaces, modern web experiences, and let people be productive quickly. Also, our business processes cut across functions and systems, meaning more cross-functional, more cross-platform, and you need solutions that will run your end-to-end business process on a single platform, hence the Microsoft Cloud. And people are interested in compliance and security, and the Microsoft platform is excellent at that by providing an infrastructure that conforms and adheres and protects us from all the threats out there that we might have to be concerned about. So in bridging the work management gap, in thinking about those challenges, we all manage projects, but we're not all trained to do so, hence that casual or accidental project manager. We believe collaboration is critical because we have this distributed need, but it's chaotic and it's happening everywhere. And sometimes it's disjointed, emails, threads, IMs, different solutions and tools. We want to manage work our own way, but legacy tools that the organization gives us don't allow it. So maybe there's not enough agility, not enough way to do maybe portfolio management the way we want to bring it all together from the different places. Hence, there's this whole shadow IT with the easy access of cloud tools that are out there. Teams are also often choosing their own tools to succeed, leading to a proliferation of tools in the organization. So when we do that, we silo a lot of our information and fragment it out in different parts of the organization. And if we want to get our data effectively for decision support, it's a mess. And to pull it all together is generally manual. And even the reporting is a manual effort in a project in and of itself. So in order to make better decisions, we have to provide the big picture. And if we don't have the big picture, we're going to spend non-productive time trying to make that big picture happen. So Microsoft and its cloud is in a unique position to bring this all together between the tools they offer in Office 365, Dynamics 365, and the other solutions that may be deployed in Azure in the cloud. Microsoft provides a variety of things in and of itself to do work management. So for example, in Office 365, there's the collaboration within Teams, there's Planner, there's To-Do, there's SharePoint that people are using for certain things. In Project, there's the traditional Microsoft Project, but there's also Project for the web. Azure DevOps has its Azure boards for doing more agile backlogs and those types of things. And the key there is that it is a common Microsoft cloud platform, but there are different environments in here. And we need to bring this together into a connected work management system by bringing these tools together, even if it's all in the Microsoft platform. So hence, those of you who are on here might be interested because you are already using Project Online or Microsoft Project. And Microsoft announced quite some time ago that their investment in Project Online is really over. They're not innovating there any longer. They're really reimagining that. And we're going to talk about what that means today. And they're basically saying they haven't given a date certain yet, but they're encouraging people to make plans to move into the new platform and get off of Project Online at some points, meaning that that is not the long-term future for where they're going for project and portfolio management. So what would that mean? Well, Project Online today for PPM solutions is a solution that's based on a SharePoint or SharePoint Online foundation. And Project Online has served the need for PPM for quite some time in the Microsoft offering and doing a great job for a lot of people. Now, where this is going and what we're going to focus on today is its move into Project for the Web and a Power Apps or Power Platform foundation. And we'll get into more detail about that. But this avenue is designed more for that traditional PPM and PMO type of use case that you may have in your organization. They've also got a branch here where if you're a professional services organization, you're doing things like billable projects and you have to invoice and even do detailed chargebacks, for example. Dynamics has an offering called Project Operations, which leverages some of Project for the Web, but that's a specific use case. So we're going to focus on that top use case today in Project for the Web and Power Apps. So what is this new Project for the Web? Now, if you have not been introduced to this yet, it really is designed to be a more modern interface that's more simple and easy to get involved with. As you see here in the animated screen, you could use more Kanban style boards up above for your data if you like. You can go into different modes. You can use a simple grid like a spreadsheet and work with your data that way, or in a traditional Gantt chart or timeline. It's all the same data, but you can choose the way you would interact with it. But it's in a more of a simple, easy, basic interface that has the basics that you might want for scheduling. So the key is to give you a fresh new experience, make collaboration easy with things like co-authoring like you have in the rest of Office, intelligent planning, and on an innovative platform that you have in here within the Power Platform, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So this is all built on the Power Platform. And if we think about some of the things you may already be using in the Power Platform, a lot of people are already using Power BI for business analytics and reporting and dashboards. Power Automate, which is Microsoft's offering now for workflow automation and business process automation and some light integration. Power Apps, which is the low-code, no-code platform that allows people to spin up applications without having to necessarily have developers there. And then there is the Dataverse, which is the repository on the back end, which is designed to be a common hub of data for all the things that you do within your organization and make that data easily accessible and get rid of that siloing. Now, Project for the Web is built on this platform and is designed to leverage these components to provide an overall PPM solution. So now, if you're thinking this is a radical transition and you're not in the Power Platform and Power Apps, for example, just be rest assured that Satya Nadella himself, the CEO of Microsoft, says that the Power Platform is part of what's core to what they're doing as a company. It's strategic. That's where Microsoft is going, and if you choose to go there, it is something that you can be sure that you're in lockstep with where Microsoft is going. So if we think about this Project for the Web that I showed you, you could use it simply as a scheduling tool, like you do with Microsoft Project on the desktop. You can do individual projects and you can save them, and by default they save into this Dataverse repository, and then when you open them, it's opening from the repository. But that's not really where the power comes from. You could do that individually for your projects. But organizationally for a solution, the power comes because of this Dataverse and the use of Power Apps, that you can actually provide portfolio solutions within this Power Platform or in this Power App to allow you to use this no-code, low-code platform to provide solutions instead of the old SharePoint-based solution that we had with Project Online. Now, not everybody has the appetite to fashion their own solutions in a no-code, low-code way even, and spin them up from scratch. So hence, OnePlan is pleased to say that we were involved in developing for Microsoft a project accelerator for Project for the Web in Power Apps that allows people to have a free download so that they can leverage their licenses of Project for the Web and provide some additional capabilities that aren't just in the scheduling tool, like a portfolio of projects, aggregating projects into collections of programs, a project request area that can be promoted into projects, and even some reporting that extends beyond like the schedule reports and provides portfolio level data and reports that you don't have if you're just using Project for the Web as a scheduling tool at the execution level. But this is something that is pre-built that can get you started, and that's why it's called an accelerator. Now, what's in there? The things in Project for the Web in the green here are kind of the things you would expect to have in Microsoft Project on the desktop. You can create a project, you can put your task plans in there and your dependencies and your resources and all that type of thing. But what the Power Apps in the purple adds things like risks, issues, and change requests, status reporting and narratives, some governance process, and even KPIs. It also adds a project request area where you can log requests that you can consider and put through an approval process and later promote to projects, and even be able to aggregate these things into programs. All of this stuff, both the Power Apps components and the Project for the Web components that work seamlessly together, are generating data that can be used in reports, and there are report packs at the both project scheduling level and at the portfolio level in Power BI. Now, what you get is a solution, for example, a request area for project requests and demand management and reports to help you analyze those. You get program management, which aggregates collections of projects into programs to do more program management level things. You get the project management, obviously, with Project for the Web with the modes we talked about earlier on. You have a risk log where you can actually log your risks and actually have reports that actually generate a risk matrix for you and other types of perspectives. Same thing with issue logs and having those issues across all your projects being able to be surfaced and analyzed and addressed. Change requests that come in, same type of concept, as well as status reports, which could include data that gets pulled from the system, as well as narratives that you could add each period, but have it done in a effective, cohesive way instead of constructing these things each period. And then obviously the report pack that gives you a whole range of reports at different levels of detail. Now, the accelerator with Project for the Web is meeting the needs of a lot of people out there today. But I will say there's people that have been using Project for the Web or even other tools in a more, let's just say, extensive and maybe mature, more mature fashion. And even the folks like Gartner and the analyst group say there are critical capabilities for project and portfolio management that people often use and isn't addressed by Project for the Web in the accelerator at this point. So for example, things like time management or a timesheet, detailed financial tracking, resource capacity planning at a granular time phase level, and even some project portfolio management capabilities and things like what if analysis and things like that need to be added to the mix in order to meet the needs of many organizations. So for those organizations that need more, the future of the Power Platform does include the addition of OnePlan. Now, OnePlan did innovate and create the accelerator for Microsoft, So we're uniquely positioned to extend this and know how it works with our OnePlan capabilities. And these OnePlan capabilities we're going to talk about today and how it extends it and takes the capabilities even beyond what you're used to having in Microsoft Project Online. So if you think about the things that I showed you before that are in the Accelerator with Project for the Web, add into the mix in the blue for OnePlan, things like strategic execution as well as strategic alignment, additional portfolio capabilities like what-if analysis and scenario modeling, enhanced prioritization and detailed financials, resource capacity planning, and even a timesheet and a My Work area where people can collectively status everything from one place. And if you take that another step further, the Accelerator really just leverages only Project for the Web as an option for a scheduling tool. What we offer is the ability to extend with connectors to actually use your Project Professional or Project Desktop solution still if you have more robust scheduling needs and pull that into the portfolio. Or even Agile tools to bring in your use of Azure DevOps or Jira or other things. So this is an extended vision that can be done today with the use of OnePlan's technology with the Accelerator. So these connectors that we're talking about to bring in these other tools, these are not custom coded one-off things that we've done for clients. It's a productized set of connectors in the OnePlan technology that are provided as a service. So if you wanted to bring in Project Desktop, you want to bring in Azure DevOps, you want to bring in Jira, those types of things can be brought in with these productized connectors that are ready to go for you to use. So when we add these things, I'm not going to steal the thunder from the demonstration, but for example, we get portfolio visibility across all work, regardless of what tools are inputting the scheduling details. We get to do enhanced portfolio prioritization and what-if analysis, so where we can do portfolio Kanban boards for people in more agile approaches that are doing program increment planning. Product roadmap views. We provide a portfolio tree hierarchy for portfolios and programs and whatever level of detail you might want on that, and visuals around those KPIs. Resource capacity planning on a detailed time phase basis. Resource negotiations with facilitated byplay between resource managers and project organizations or project managers. Resource prioritization and what-if scenarios to say, what can we do with the resources we have and what options and scenarios could we do? Detailed financial planning and tracking on a time phase basis. And then what-if analysis leveraging our financial constraints. A My Work area where a resource can go to one place and see everything that's on their plate and provide status, regardless of whether or not it's a task or an agile backlog item or an issue or a risk or whatever it might be. And timesheets, if people want to report time on these things, which isn't really available in the Accelerator and Power App by itself. And then just insights, the idea of analysis for an individual user to call to attention to them the things that are requiring their attention, the things that might be falling off track. And consistent status reporting, so generated as a natural output of the process. Now, the Gartners of the world and the other analysts are saying there is a move in addition to traditional PPM to move to strategic portfolio management. And it's not necessarily a replacement for what we know as PPM, but it's really enhancing and adding to that mix. So for example, on the strategic level, business leaders are outlining strategic plans or strategic initiatives where they have to execute on those, right? And have a tool where they can actually follow that and track how they're progressing at their strategies and their visions. The execution leaders need to be or should be aligned with those strategies and using in their prioritization of projects, are we aligned with those strategies and have it factor into our things as well as other things that we're considering. And some of those considerations may be technology and applications or even business capabilities that are required to be modified or addressed in order to deliver on the things that we're executing and to fulfill on the strategies. So there are more dimensions to consider as we're both considering it, embarking upon projects, and also as we execute on those projects. Now, the Gartner Hype Cycle says that strategic portfolio management is still in that early stage, but it is coming. It means it has a life cycle for a number of years that's forecasted that is going to augment what we're already doing in things like agile project management, traditional PPM, adaptive project management, etc. So just be aware that this is a real thing. And if your organization is looking to go down this route, the solution we're going to show you today can address that for you. Now, There's the strategic portfolio management in the OnePlan components for the objectives and key results to execute on a strategic plan. But on the bottom, you can see that we can align the project portfolio with those strategies. And on top of that, if we talk about a more enterprise architecture type of approach where we need more than just strategic alignment, you might have business objectives or strategies. You might have tangible key results that show whether or not we're making tangible progress to achieving that business objective, that they're linked to those objectives. But then we might have an enterprise architecture component, that we might have a business capability, like in this case, order processing, that needs to be modified, addressed, or improved. And there may be applications that support that capability that need to be addressed, that all have to be focused on in order to achieve that objective. And then on top of that, we have initiatives that then might impact those applications or require those applications or capabilities that also support the achievement of the business objectives and the associated key results. And OnePlan, as we're going to show today, really provides the ability to add into the mix here strategic planning and execution, the enterprise architecture components like the business capabilities, applications, et cetera, and the ability to track that and align it with a project portfolio. Now, it does provide with these interrelations the opportunity for more reporting and visuals on things like how these things are all interrelated, and Paul can talk a little bit more about that in his demonstration. Now, OnePlan is designed and built for the Microsoft Cloud, and people typically and often use it just in a browser, but it is designed with the idea that it can be a fused user experience to the Microsoft environment that you're already in. So for example, we're going to talk about it in Power Apps today, and it can be surfaced and made part of that Accelerator or other Power Apps that you may have in your organization. It's an authorized Microsoft Teams application, meaning you can surface it and use it within Teams. If you integrate it with Azure DevOps, you could actually access it through Azure DevOps without leaving Azure DevOps. And the same thing holds true with Dynamics and with SharePoint as well. The key is to keep you from task switching as much as you do, and stay working in the environments or the tools that you're working in every day, yet still leverage the benefits of OnePlan. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Paul, and he'll demonstrate you these things live and in action.
So we're going to walk through in this demo a bit of a journey of and outline some of the investments we're making to help people take advantage of the investments they've made in the Microsoft platform and move forward in alignment with Microsoft's vision. So I'm going to start with just a quick look at the Accelerator. Then I'm going to jump into sort of how we've extended it, and then show a more fulsome scenario of Power Apps, and then dive into some other things and some other ways that you might go as you sort of look to the future and where you want to go as an organization and where the industry is going as well. So that's sort of the roadmap of our little journey today. So it starts here with the Accelerator. So as you can see on the screen, this is the Accelerator that Microsoft produced, that we worked with them to put into market a little over a year ago, a year and a half ago. And clients are using this to organize and execute on their projects, create programs, figure out where they're at, do status reports, other reporting, and so forth. So some very nice information up front. You could do some simple project requests using a Power App. But if I jump into the list of projects just quickly, and I'm just going to grab one just to sort of give you a quick tour of what you're seeing here, is some information. If you've used Project Online or Project Server in the past, you think of these as kind of like PDP pages in a sense. They are Power Apps. They are components using the Power Apps technology to where we capture some summary level data that we might want, some business case or the standard things you might want to capture. Obviously, it's configurable. The Accelerator is designed to be a start point. But here's where some of the things change, is that risks, issues, and changes, for example, which we would have done those in SharePoint sites using SharePoint lists, are now here as Power Apps. There may not be any risks in this one. Oh, there is one, where I can come in and add a new risk and so forth. And I can manage and communicate as a team on those core things that any project team needs to work on. The Accelerator, of course, leverages Project for the Web, which is where Microsoft's making all of its investments. And so you'll see here, so let's take a second to load. You'll see this come up, and just a simple example of a Project for the Web project. There it is. A simple example for Project for the Web project where we can create some tasks, assign them to resources, start end dates, and so forth. I'm looking at it in a grid view. You might want to see it in a board view and who's assigned to it, or in a more conventional Gantt chart type view. And if I just go scroll to tasks, that'll look a little better. and I could see sort of where I am in this particular project. Effective project management, little project management tool for you to use right here in the Accelerator. So in broad strokes, that's the Accelerator. Now, we've worked very closely with Microsoft, and then we went and tried to extend this to provide additional value, as we've discussed. So if I jump over here and I make one switch to OnePlan, see I made that one change. Now inside the Accelerator, we've added my work, my timesheet, the ability to analyze the projects, to manage resources with more data. But if I jump back into that same project screen and I jump down to project we like to pick on, there we go. You'll see there's some additional tabs, and here where we've brought into play the ability to track financials on this particular project, to define a budget, to define and track actuals and all those sorts of things that we might want to do on this project. Likewise, to do some more rich resource planning against this particular project. Okay, so I've got some resources. This is what's scheduled. Maybe I want to look at what we originally committed or what we wanted. I might have some time in there as well. I don't have one in this one, and so forth. So I've got richer data here. So I'm extending the Accelerator. So this is an investment we're making to help customers take advantage of the Accelerator and this move towards the Power Platform, but then leverage OnePlan to take it even further and address the kind of core requirements they have. And then that leads to the ability here to analyze your overall portfolio and maybe do prioritization and some of the other things that people look for in a tool like this as a PPM solution. So we have all of that rich capability. So that's the extension of the Accelerator sort of out of the box. If I jump over here to this environment, I'm going to jump up to the top just quickly. Now I'm in an even more sort of built out Power Apps solution where I have the insights that we showed earlier. We have my work and my timesheet again. We start to see strategy come in this case is Power Apps and some of those capabilities. Our demand management, our intake has some richer capabilities as well. We've added portfolios in, so we have that three-tiered architecture. And now when I click on the analyzer, I want to highlight sort of one specific capability here. If I look down this list of projects, so there they are organized, in this case by portfolio, you could see that Microsoft Teams is integrated with all of them or most all of them. This one's connected to SharePoint, this one to Project for the Web, this one's to Project Pro, you have one here to Azure DevOps, Jira. If I scroll down, I know there's one down here that's connected to Planner. So this is where we can take this. What we see with organizations today is as they move forward, one of the core things they're looking to harness and to embrace is that power of choice at the execution side. We highlighted that in one of the slides around that people are working in different ways, and there's a lot of tools out there. Microsoft certainly has lots of tools in market that can manage different types of work. And so we bring them all together here. We're in Power Apps, so we're embracing that capability, but OnePlan in the background is connecting to all these different tools so that we can engage all these audiences in the portfolio. All of them can still do that overview of the resources they need, that budget and so forth, regardless of how they intend to execute on the project. So again, clicking on the same project name, different environment, there's my resource plan, right? Here's my budget. So regardless of where I am and how I intend to execute this might be an agile project, it might be a waterfall project, or in the case of this one, it's actually hybrid, it's a bit of both, but I'm able to track those things and do all of that here. So we see with a lot of our larger implementations, this use of Power Apps to extend the solution, to automate business processes and engage them in the portfolio management and the project management of the environment using the combination of Power Apps and then the core capabilities of OnePlan. The next investment that we're making as we sort of watch the market moving forward, and I'm going to jump to yet another environment. This one is just in the browser, so a different deployment technique. We're not using Power Apps in this particular example, but here I am in another environment, and I want to highlight that linkage of strategy and architecture to the portfolio. So in here, I can articulate the strategy. So we have an area for strategy, and I open this up, and you can see we've got these objectives and underneath them key results. And if I click on either one of them, but I'm going to highlight a key result as we go, you could see in here that this particular key result is connected to several different initiatives. Those initiatives have a role to play in achieving that key result. So we have that visibility. So we can quickly articulate what are our objectives and how will we know we've achieved them. And so in the slide we showed a few minutes ago, sort of as this progresses through, we can then say, well, what parts of our infrastructure or our architecture do we need to invest in, maybe modify, enhance, or introduce to accomplish these objectives? And so we can articulate that architecture here as well. So if I jump into this, and I'm just going to go to all, I want to look at all types of scalable more data, and I'm going to go down and I can look at an application, for example. This particular application, it has a life cycle, it has some data we could capture about it, but I roll down here, that application is linked to a couple of our objectives. It's not linked in this case right yet to any capabilities or value streams, but it's also linked to a bunch of initiatives that are touching that application in some way. They're adding modules to it and so forth, okay? That they're bringing that to bear. So we have that visibility. Now when I go to the portfolio and look at these projects, and I'm gonna pick on the same one that we've picked on in every environment we've gone through, there's this new area in here. I'm gonna open this up. Here's what we know, and this is where organizations are going. This is where the world is going, according to Gartner, according to Forrester and others, is this move towards strategic portfolio management. And here's how you can do this on the Microsoft platform, whether you do it in Power Apps, as I've shown previously, or right here in a browser, is this project is linked to some specific objectives we have. It is tied to and split up, budget's been split accordingly across 3 key results. So completing this project helps me achieve those key results. It is also tied to 3 applications. So this project will result in investments made in those applications. It's tied to a couple of our products as an organization and one of our value streams. So we're creating that visibility. I know what my strategy is. I know how I'll measure success in completing that strategy. I know what my architecture is and what are the things I have, or maybe the things I need to invest in. And then I understand my portfolio and the role it plays in accomplishing all that, and how it links back to that architecture. So if I jump back to my portfolio, I can start to zoom in on some of this and say, well, show me all of the projects that are going to help me increase my brand awareness. 2 of them aren't even active. So if that was my number 1 objective, we better get them rolling. And that may mean, and we could go through a much longer sort of protracted exercise to figure out what would have to come out to make these things happen. But at a minimum, we know where we're at on these. Some of them are active, some of them are proposed. And if we're trying to accomplish this objective and achieve those key results that you're seeing on the screen, we need to know what they are. So I've looked at that. We've looked at Power Apps. We've looked here in the browser. I'm going to kind of close just quickly on, here's some of that same capability. This is a similar or the same environment, that same portfolio, yet now I'm viewing it in teams. So we talk about the different ways we can deploy this. So today we've looked at deploying it in Power Apps, whether we extend the Accelerator or sort of build something more complete, more fulsome. Deploying it as in a browser, as an application, as a SaaS solution with connections to things like Project and Jira and DevOps, or your financial environments and all those sort of places where you store data and engaging those. Or I can do it here in Teams, which is a very popular platform. So regardless of what you've invested in today, there's an opportunity to leverage those investments and deliver real value to your organization as you embrace where Microsoft's going with PPM and where the industry's going with PPM in terms of the platforms that Microsoft's bringing to bear and the richness of those platforms and how you use them, as well as the capabilities of linking your strategy and being a central part of that strategy, and how your organization is going to execute on it and being able to track that and visualize it as you go. And with that, I'll bring the demo to a close. Jim, back to you.
All right, well, thank you for that great demonstration. Let's summarize a little bit and talk about some potential next steps you can take if you like what you saw here today. So to summarize, Microsoft is in the process of reimagining Project and Project Online. The new Microsoft solution is really built on the Power Platform. The Microsoft PPM Accelerator was built by OnePlan Solutions. And even though there is a new solution in Accelerator, this new solution from Microsoft and the Accelerator does not yet have full feature parity with what was in Project Online. But the PPM Accelerator combined with OnePlan extends and goes beyond the capabilities of Project Online. And OnePlan on top of that can also add strategic portfolio management capabilities like Paul was showing you here earlier on. Now, OnePlan as an organization, we provide the solutions, the services, migration efforts, and any support you need to ensure that your transition has value and success at the end of the day and the outcomes that you're looking for. Just a little bit of a matrix, very high level of what maybe the high level capabilities you're used to having in Project Online, what you get with Project for the Web and the Accelerator by itself, but the Accelerator and OnePlan combined provide you more things than you'd get in that combined. So there's just a high level matrix here for you to look at and refer to. You'll get a copy of these slides. Now, if you're coming off of Project Online and wondering what the options are, the trade-offs are, you could go for Project Online, and we won't talk about the Dynamics Project Operations piece today. But Project for the Web and Power Apps by itself with the Accelerator, the pros are it's aligned with Microsoft Visions, it's a flexible platform for addressing and can be modified. It's a known license model if you own those capabilities. The cons, it's missing capabilities that are in Project Online today, potentially that you might want. And it likely requires investment in custom apps or third-party tools or some coding in order to meet that. It's well aligned with Microsoft's vision, but the solution itself is still maturing to add additional capabilities from Project for the Web. Now, if you do this, but add OnePlan to the mix, we're still aligned with Microsoft's vision. We provide more complete PPM functionality to replace or extend beyond with what you're doing in Project Online. It also helps you integrate with things like Project Planner and other scheduling tools to have that power of choice with your tools, and also integrates with Microsoft Teams very nicely to enhance with the collaborative capabilities of Teams. So it's well aligned with Microsoft's visions, exceeds the capabilities of Project Online while preserving the core components of the user experience that you'd get in the Power Apps. Now, we do have tooling to migrate you from Project Online into this new environment. So that's something that we can offer. So that is here today that we can help you with. And to that end, we're happy to walk you through a migration workshop if you're interested, taking a look at what you have today, what sources you might be coming from, and getting that into the new modern solution that has Microsoft and or OnePlan involved in that mix. So we're happy to propose to you a workshop that allows us to kind of take you from point A to point B and lead you through all the considerations that might be in play. Now, we do webinars like this all the time, typically weekly. And we got our next two scheduled, and you may get an email on this, or you can just go to oneplan.ai/webinars, and they'll have our upcoming webinars as well as a rich library of our on-demand webinars that we've done in the past. Next week, we're going to do one called Implement Strategic Portfolio Management on the Microsoft Platform. So a little more deeper dive into the strategic portfolio management capabilities that we touched on today. And then we're going to focus on embrace the power of choice on this NextGen PPM on the Microsoft Platform, focusing a little bit more on using other execution tools beyond just Project for the Web in order to make your vision happen. Now, you can check out some free trials. There is an accelerator available to you. You can go up to AppSource and you can find the accelerator that OnePlan can get in your hands and actually provide you some chaperoning on that. So you can trial out the accelerator. Now, caution, you do need permissions and the capability to download it. So you may need an administrator to authorize the application, but just be aware that it is available for free. And then we also have just the OnePlan capability. So if you like the strategic portfolio management pieces or any of the adaptive stuff that we showed here today, up on AppSource, you can actually enable a free trial and poke around and get hands-on with that trial. We're happy to chaperone you and guide you and provide you some support on that trial. We also offer just a roadmap workshop. If you just want to have a high-level discussion of what it is you're using today, what your current requirements and maybe desired future state is, and what it's going to take to get to these new platforms or solution, we're happy to have this discussion with you on a free consultation basis in order to have this discussion with you. So from an options perspective, there's free trials available. There's a free roadmap workshop. Also, if you're not quite there yet and you want to see more, we're happy to schedule a personalized one-on-one demo to go a little more depth or into the functional or requirements or use case areas that you have in mind for your organization. So you can reach us at contact@oneplan.ai. You can research more about our solutions at www.oneplan.ai. Or you can just reach out to Paul or I directly if you had some things that we talked about today that you'd like to drill into us with us more. Happy to reach out to us. You'll get a copy of these slides with our email address. We really, really look forward to engaging with you. That's what we live for here. We engage with our customers and we help them succeed. We are invested in success, and by that we mean our customers' success. So thank you for investing some of your valuable time with us today, and we really hope to talk to you in the future. Have a great day.